Hello friends, welcome to the course Foundations of R Software. You can recall that in the last lecture we had talked about that how you can paste different types of strings. So now in this lecture we will continue on a similar topic, but we will try to learn here how you can split the string. Well, this is a very common operation that sometimes you need in the data manipulations and database at some particular values which you want to define. So how to do it in the R software? This is the topic what we are going to learn in this lecture, and for that I will try to take a couple of examples, and through those examples I will try to show you that how R can also be used to split the strings at some desired points. So let us begin our lecture. So in case if you want to split the elements of a character vector, the command is strsplit, which means string split, right? Now this split can be a single character, that can also be a character string, right? So this I will try to explain you in this lecture through some example that what do I mean by saying that the split can be a single character or character string. So the command here is like this, that you write down here strsplit, all lowercase alphabet, and then you have to give the string or the character vector which you want to split, and then after that you have to give here an option here is split, and this is character vector that contains an expression, and here you want to inform the R software that at this is the point which is given under the split, there the string under the X has to be splitted. And then you have here one more command here fix, that can take two possible values, that is true or false. So if it is true, then it matches the split exactly, otherwise it will use the usual regular expressions, right? So I will try to show you with some example, then all these statements will become very clear. So now suppose I try to take a statement here like this, the syntax of paste is available in the online help, and you can see here I am trying to give here certain characters and an exclamatory signs at these places, right? So this is your here statement, and you want to suppose split this statement X at all those places where you have an exclamatory sign. So this will be splitted here, splitted here, splitted here, splitted here, here, and then finally means here like this. So now how to get it done? So this is very simple in R that you can do such an operation. You simply write down here strsplit, and then you try to write down this expression here as I told you, and then you try to use here the option split equal to, and now within double quotes try to give the character at which you want to split. So you can see here as soon as you execute it, you will get here this type of outcome, and if you try to understand this outcome, you can see here this outcome, this is the split of this thing, you can see here. And similarly if you try to take here this outcome, this syntax end, this is here the second split, right? And similarly if you try to take here the third one of and this is here the third split. And similarly if you try to take here the fourth one here, this here paste and, so this is your here this paste and then you have here this is also here, and after that you have here say and available. So this is here this one, and then after this you have here in the online help like this here. So this is coming here. So you can see here this is what is happening, that this string split command is simply trying to split the statement at those places where you have given the instruction under the option split, right? And this is here the screenshot of the same operation. Now I try to give you here this one more example, and this is the same statement what I just explained you, but now I am trying to change my character at which I want to split. So first you try to see, I am trying to give here now the split here as say like and exclamatory sign within the double quotes. Earlier I had given only the exclamatory sign. So if you try to see what will happen, wherever is the exclamatory sign, this is going to be splitted. So if you try to look at the outcome and the statement what you have given, you can understand it very easily. And after that if you try to see, the next symbol is coming here, and after this the next symbol is here, after that here is the next symbol, What do you think about this? This is not the symbol. Why? Because you have given here and exclamatory sign, whereas this is here exclamatory sign and. So it won't be splitted here. And after this, if you try to see in continuation, this is here exclamatory sign and here and, so it is not going to be splitted here also. So this split is going to happen here at the, then syntax, then at off, then here paste, and after that the entire string will come at one place. So if you try to see here, the first outcome here is corresponding to this the, because the split is happening here, and then here it is here syntax, which is happening here, and then if you try to see here, the third here is off, which is happening here, and then after that you have here paste. So paste is happening here, and after that there is no more splitting, and whole this statement, this and here this is coming at one place. So you can see here, this is how the things are happening in this when we try to split the string, and this is here the screenshot of the same outcome which I just shown you here. Right. So you can see here. So now similarly, if you try to now replace your here this split command here by this and exclamatory sign, now you can see what will happen. This exclamatory sign and where is this happening? If you try to see, this is here and nowhere else. If you try to see, you cannot consider this, you cannot consider this, you cannot consider this, you cannot even consider this, because they are and exclamatory sign, right? So what will happen here, that if you try to take the same sentence here and if you try to split at this symbol here, then it is going to be broken only at one place here. And you can see here very easily that this is the first split which is happening here with this part, and the second part which is here like this, and here this which is happening here this, right? So you just have to just follow this pen, that how I am doing it, but you can see here this is how the string split works. So now in this case, if you want to access any particular component, how are you going to work on this? Now actually you have in different types of data objects. So similarly, if you try to look here, that in this case you have to observe here like this one. This is inside double square brackets, it is here 1, and after this is the value which is here, this is here bracket number 1, square bracket number 1, and the second value is here bracket number 2, square bracket. So if you want to suppose call the first element here, what you have to write, suppose you have stored this outcome in the vector y, you have to write down here the complete address, then first you write the 1 in the double square bracket, and then you try to write down the location of your element which you want to call, right? So this is exactly what I have done here, that if you try to write down here like this, that y, and then first you have to write down the double square brackets, and then you try to write down here this 1. So this is calling this part, this is the first part of your split. And similarly, if you want to call the second part of the split, how you can do it? You simply have to write this 1 and here 2. And if you try to see here, this is like this available in the online help. And if you try to verify it here, this is like this y, and then you are simply trying to write down here 1, and then it is here 2, and this second value will appear here. And this is here the screenshot of the same operation. Now in case if you try to see what will really happen, if you try to write down here y1 and then after you write 3. So in the double square brackets you are write here 1 and then here 3, and then you get here the outcome like as here NA. Why this is NA? Because this is not available. If you try to see here, there are only two partitions. This is the partition number 1 and this is here the partition number 2. So there is no third partitioning. So it is giving you here NA, right? And this is the same outcome which you can see here in this screenshot. So let us try to first see these operations on the R console, and then I will try to give you some more aspects. So first let me try to write down this here X, and you can see here. So you can see here X is here like this. Now if you try to write down here the command for this here string split, and you are trying to write down here like this, split is equal to exclamatory sign. So wherever is your exclamatory sign, this is partitioning here, right? And now in this case, if you try to write down the command here that split is equal to and exclamatory sign, you can see here this is here, and so on. So you can see here the change in the outcome. You can see here there is a difference here. Now you can see here, means earlier there were 7 partitions, now you have only here 5 partitions. And similarly, if you try to do here like this, let me try to clear the screen and then then if you try to see here, this is your here x, and if you try to write down here exclamatory sign and, right, then you know that what is going to happen, there is going to be only here 2 outcome, right. So similarly, if you try to save this outcome in some here variable here y, and you want to call the first element, so first you have to write down here this one, and then you try to write down here this one, right. So it will give you the first value, and similarly if you try to write down here 2, it will give you here the second value, right. And if you try to give here y3, so you can see here there is no y3, so it will give you here the NA, right. So this is how you can access any particular value after splitting, means any partition after splitting, right. So now we come back to our slides, and now I try to give you here one more example, and this example is very interesting, that you will see that I will try to split some dates to a matrix. This looks very strange. How can you convert some dates here to a matrix? So what I want here is that I have here this 4 dates, 24/7/2020, 24 July 2020, then 25th August 2021, and then you have here 26th September 2022, and then 27th October 2023. And suppose I want to write down here a matrix like this one, that in the first column of the matrix I need here years like this, then in the second column I want to write down here the months like as 7, 8, 9 and here 10, and then I want to write down here the dates like as here this is 24th July first value, second value 25th August, third value is 26th September, and fourth value is 7th October, right. So first I try to make a split of this data vector of 4 dates at a point wherever I have this hyphen. So you can see here this will be splitted here, then here, then here, then here, then here, right. So for that I try to give here a statement strsplit, then here inside the parenthesis date, and then within double quotes I try to give here the hyphen sign. So you can see here now I have here this splitting, but you can see here the problem now is that you have here splitting which is inside the double quotes. So these are essentially your characters, number 1. Number 2, you can see here that in the earlier examples you always took only one string, so there was a partitioning and you were only observing there this one inside the double brackets. But now here you can see here you have here say string number 1, string number 2, string number 3 and string number here 4. So that is why you have here these 4 values in the square brackets 1, 2, 3 and here 4. And after this whatever are the dates, they are partitioned, right. So now what you can do, that now if you try to see this outcome is going to be in the form of a list. So first you would like to use the command here unlist, right. So as soon as you try to here write down here unlist, what will happen, the data which is stored in the date split, right, that will be free from this list. And then now you are trying to use here the command here matrix, and then you try to use here n row is equal to 4, n column is equal to 3 and by row is equal to true, and you can see here this data will be arranged here like this, right. So this is your here first column of the years, second column of the months and third column of the dates. So this is your here year, then here months, and then your here dates, right. But you have to observe here one thing, that once again inside this matrix all the values are in the form of a character only, they are inside the double quote, right. So now if you want to get rid of this character and you want to convert it into a number, because if you want to make any mathematical manipulations over the matrix, then all the elements inside the matrix have to be in the form of some number. So now you can use now here as dot numeric, and then you try to have this data that you have obtained through the unlist of data split data vector, right. And again you are trying to use here n row equal to 4 and n col is equal to 3 and by row is equal to true, and now you get here the same outcome you can see here. So if you try to compare it here with this outcome, so when you are trying to use here only unlist, it was going to give you the data which is in the format of character. But if you try to use once again numeric over this data what you have obtained in the earlier outcome, now this this will give you here a numeric value. So if you try to see here the reason why I took this example, right, and you can see here this is the screenshot, right. So in this screenshot you can see these are your here dates. When I try to split it, they are getting here splitted, but everything is in the form of a list. You can see here these are the addresses, right, and so now you wanted to get rid of these addresses. So you first use the command unlist and then you use the command as dot numeric over this data what you have obtained here, and you get here the matrix, right. So now let me first try to show you this outcome on the this screen on the R console, and then I try to show you here what is going to happen, right. So let me try to just copy this here data. So first let me try to copy here this dates. So these are your here dates. So you can see here there are 4 dates, right. Now you try to use here the command here string split over this data here, and you try to store it in the value date split date splt. You can see here like this, right. So now if you want to see what is the mode of this date splt, you can see here this is here list, and that is why you want to first make this outcome independent of the features of the list. So that is why I have to use here the command here unlist over this data vector, and then I will try to show you that what is happening. So if you try to see here now what happens here date mat. Now you have used the command here unlist on this earlier obtained data, and you can see here that this is here now like this, but this is in the form of character, and if you try to find out the mode of this outcome here, you can see here very clearly this is character. So you want to get rid of this value here, and you try to use here the command here as dot numeric, and once you try to execute it here, you can see here this date metric comes here like this, and if you try to find out here the mode of this date metric, you can see here now this is numeric, right. So if you want to do any mathematical operations over this matrix, then you can do it. So the reason why I took this example was that if I ask you in the beginning of this example that if you have this type of dates and can you convert it into a matrix, possibly it will be difficult for you to think. But if you try to see whatever commands we have used here, if you simply try to use them intelligently in a logical way, possibly you can achieve. And this is the best part of the programming, that how you have to think the logic in which you can execute and can get what you want, right. So just as I shown you in the beginning, that when you are trying to use this string split, then you can split it as strings as well as characters. So up to now whatever you have seen here, you can see in this example you are trying to split these things as some strings, right. But now I try to show you here that even if you want to split the individual characters, what you can say here, you simply try to write down here string split, and then in the split you don't write anything within double quotes, you just don't say anything, just 2 double quotes, that's all, right. For example, if I want to write down my name here say x, say SHALABH, which is a string here, but if you try to split it with this command, you can see here this is splitted after every alphabet, and this is here the screenshot. So you can see here this is not a very difficult command, and just try to show you here that how you can convert the individual string into strings as well as individual alphabets or individual character, right. So you can see here it is here like this. Okay, so now we come to an end to this lecture. So this was a short lecture, and I have just shown you here only one command, that how you can split a string. But the example which I have shown you, that will indicate you that why I have taken this command here, and I have tried to show you that well, in the beginning it looks that as if you are simply going to know how you are going to split the string, that is correct. But then how it is going to be used in various types of application, that was not clear in the beginning. But now at the end of the lecture, you can see that how you have splitted the string and then you have converted the things into some numerical value. Similarly, you can think about such applications and then try to execute it. Now it depends on your capability, that how you can think. As you try to do it, you will become a very good programmer. So you try to practice it and try to become a wonderful programmer, and I will see you in the next lecture. Till then, goodbye.